Good afternoon and welcome back to Bald Father Bets. We have a singular play for you here on Friday night. I told you guys we'd get to shoot the video if we had something for Friday, and ultimately one of the two games that we were in monitor mode went into official pick mode, which is important. Quick recap of last night, but first, if you do not mind, please show the channel some love. Make sure you're subscribed. That's important for you, with the notifications on so that you get notified when we make these videos like this randomly on a Friday with a play for you guys about 3 hours before kickoff. Or if it's like an NFL Sunday, and we usually post anywhere between an hour to 30 minutes before kickoff, on a rare occasion even closer to kickoff. So make sure you're subscribed, notifications on. Doesn't cost you anything, helps us out a bit and helps you out. And then show the video some love. Give us like, comment, share it around. Let me know what your thoughts are on the Friday night games, even the ones we don't pick. Curious to know what your thoughts are on those. But the interaction with you is, again, my favorite part about doing this. Tell me why I'm a moron, or tell me why I'm awesome. Either one's fine. Thursday night, last night is an example of why we are not gamblers and why we are sports bettors, and why we have models and why we have rules and why we follow those models and why we follow those rules. There is nothing about intuition that would have told you, yep, we should take the Dolphins in this game plus 12.5. But what do you know? We took the Dolphins plus 12.5 and we won. Unfortunately, it was only for one unit. But anyway, so that brings us to 1-0 on the night, 1-0 on the week so far, and then 56 and 57 overall so far this year. Dolphins, you could tell were inspired from the jump. Opening drive, you could tell they were playing inspired. I actually think they'll still play inspired next week. They have a manageable schedule with a chance to potentially get back to 3-3 or 3-4 after week 7. And you never know what can happen in the NFL. Tua looked a lot better. Tyreek looked a lot better. It's really too bad that they had that 15-yard personal foul on the roughing the kicker on the punt, because without that, man, they really had a chance to win that game. Bills just looked a little sloppy, which that's the thing about the Bills, though. They can look a little sloppy and still beat you by 10 points. So, I mean, they can afford to do that, right? I ultimately don't think the Dolphins will make any sort of push. Like I said, I don't think they're a very good team this year. I thought that since preseason. But it was nice to see that they didn't give up. And it was nice to see that they didn't give up on McDaniel, which means they don't hate him. I think maybe you guys remember the last game Brandon Staley coached in was either a Thursday or a Monday Night Football against the Raiders, and they got beat like 63-3. Easton Stick was the quarterback for the Chargers, and you could tell the Chargers, I think, were making a statement to their organization. We're done with Mr. Staley, and it's time to move on and get a new coach. Obviously, good decision on their part, because they ended up with Jim Harbaugh. But you can tell that that's not what the Dolphins are doing with McDaniel. They're still playing inspired. They're still trying to win games. Bad pick by Tua there at the end. But that ultimately the crucial error was the 15-yard penalty on the punt. And the game ended up being terrible. I spent a lot of the day yesterday telling you guys how it was a shite game, and it was actually quite entertaining of a game. Dolphins hung in, and when you thought, okay, the Bills may pull away here and go up by multiple touchdowns, they never did. The Bills hung in there. Also down like 4 or 5 cornerbacks, which you would think being down that many cornerbacks against the Bills is a disaster, because Josh Allen's gonna pick you apart. But it didn't end up being the end of the world for him. Impressed by the effort from the Dolphins. Bills will be fine. Don't worry about it. They're a wagon. Like I said, they can play a sloppy, not that great game and still beat you by 10 points. So they're fine. So then tonight, There were two games that we were looking at, if you guys remember correctly, for monitor phase. They were Oklahoma State and Tulsa, and they were Iowa and Rutgers. Oklahoma State and Tulsa has never gone into a push for a play mode. Honestly, the line has come down too much on Tulsa. And a model would tell you should probably lay it with Oklahoma State at this number, but I don't like it. I don't know. Talk about like a team who may be giving up on their coaching staff. I don't know how the Oklahoma State players feel about Mike Gundy at this point. I mean I've maintained for several years now that Oklahoma State needs to move on from Mike Gundy. That's just been a personal feel of mine. It's an opinion, not anything like that. I am not convinced that the Oklahoma State team is bought in. So we will be staying away. We will be staying away from the Oklahoma State game. However, we will be taking Rutgers plus the 3 against Iowa for 1 unit. In theory, Iowa should be able to score in this game. I am not too sure that Iowa, even with the new quarterback, is almost regressed on offense from the small jump that they took last season. You talk about like quarterback friendly offenses, right? It's like Gronowski comes there and like has like a pretty good track record of being a quarterback, and he gets there and now he's absolutely terrible. There may not be a less quarterback friendly offense in the country than Iowa. Decent quarterbacks go there and they get worse while they're at Iowa, and their numbers are terrible, and that is such a difficult system to play in. The only thing that anyone ever succeeds from a quarterback standpoint in Iowa is throwing to the tight end over the middle. And then all of your pass attempts in that system are on like 3rd and long. And so it's like you're never set up with just an easy completion or hey, maybe I'm getting a run look here, and so I'm not going up against a loaded secondary on this, or I'm not going up against a pass rush that knows that I'm not running and just teeing off on me. It's such a tough system to play quarterback in. And secretly, Rutgers, while Iowa does have a good defense, Rutgers may be able to get some points here. If you look at some of their offensive efficiency metrics, they've been pretty good. And Friday night games in Skagway are kind of notorious for being a little bit difficult on the road team. So while it would appear that on a neutral site favorability metric, Iowa would probably be a 7 or a 7.5 point favorite. So then you're like, well, why isn't this one around 5, if 5.5? Why is it only at a 3? It's because there's some concern here from the Iowa offensive side. The other thing that Iowa's not doing that they've always been able to count on, they're not turning the other team over as much. They're getting turnovers, but it's not like Iowa needs to turn you over a lot to really have that edge to win, because they're just not going to get any explosives on offense. So I don't like Iowa heading into this. I don't like their spot. While I didn't hate Iowa headed into this season, I'm very much a person who has always said that Iowa's not they haven't been good even when they were going to Big Ten title games, winning 10 games. They just played in the Big Ten West, and their defense was never even that good either. Phil Parker's not that great. They just played Big Ten West quarterbacks. Name me some Big Ten West quarterbacks over the past 20 years who are shining stars in the NFL. So I just think as a program, Iowa isn't everything that they're built up to be, especially when they're playing away from Kinnick. They're good for 1 to 2 upsets at home a year, Tough place to play. Inspired, they play sound. So like if you turn it over a bunch, they will beat you. They will let you beat yourself. But Rutgers isn't really doing that this year, and they're playing at home. So we like Rutgers plus the 3. We're taking that one for 1 unit. We'll be back at you tomorrow morning for College Football Saturday. I think we've already given you 8 picks so far this week on the Saturday slate. Quite a bit of units, honestly. And we will add at least a few more. One more that I can almost guarantee you're adding, but probably a few more tomorrow morning as well. So thank you, appreciate you guys. Enjoy your Friday night. Enjoy whatever you're up to. Stay safe out there, and we'll see you tomorrow.